we have?
I just thought 3.
Yeah, you got it. It's 3. You actually have 3 brains. The brain is composed of 3 mini brains, so they call. Number 1, the reptilian brain. Number 2, the emotional brain. And number 3, what is called the rational brain. The reptilian brain is the oldest brain in humanity. This is where our brain was first created. The reptilian brain is essentially the fight or flight mechanism. That is the part of the brain that is constantly scanning, okay, what's going to get me? What's going to help me survive? That is what helps secrete things like adrenaline and cortisol. Cortisol is when we have a warning that, okay, there's a bear that's coming to get me. What do I do? Adrenaline is that rush of energy that you get so you can run away from the bear. This is happening from the reptilian brain, which is the oldest part. After that, there is the emotional brain. And the emotional brain is about connection. It's about bonding, being with people from the same tribe, the same group. Because when I am with people from my tribe, from my group, I am more likely to survive and thrive. And the emotional brain is also always constantly scanning what's good for me, what's not good for me. Then there's the rational brain, which is the last part of the brain to evolve. It is considered the newest part of the brain. It is about maybe 4 or 5% of this physical structure that we have. The rational brain is for things like logic, analysis, problem solving, decision making, learning, memorizing, regulating our emotions. That is where the rational brain plays its part. So my first question is, or second, when you are talking to your customer, which brain do you want to talk to? The emotional brain? Okay. So the emotional brain, it does play a strong role. But ideally, we want to talk to all 3 brains. We want to talk to their fight or flight response. We want to talk to their emotional brain. And we want to talk to their rational brain. Once you tick all the requirements that each brain is looking for, that is when you create the strongest possible connection you can with your customer. For example, fight or flight. We tend to underestimate this when we meet people. Even when we meet people for the first time, our reptilian brain is unconsciously analyzing, is this person going to harm me? We are not consciously aware of it. It's happening in the dark, deep parts of our brain. And that's also why they keep saying first impressions are important. That is when you create an imprint on the brain of the customer when they see who you are. One example of when you can use the reptilian brain is also when you are talking about safety. About, okay, this car has great protection. It has awards for the best protection in its class. It has the best airbags, so forth. When you speak on that level, you are reassuring the customer and calming their reptilian brain as well. When you look at the emotional brain, you want to bring things up that stimulate their feelings. Oh, you want a family car? Yeah, I can see that the Armada, it's a great family car. You have a lot of space for the kids' stuff and their things. You'll create a lot of memories. You'll drive to different parts of the country, have a good time. You're stimulating the emotions, which we're also going to talk about. You are satisfying the emotional brain of the customer. Then there is the rational brain, which is very analytical, which is, oh, you want a 3.6, here's a 3.6 liter engine, a 7-seater. This is all the details of the car that you asked for. Here they are. Thank you. You've now satisfied my rational brain. This creates assurance. This creates certainty. Don't underestimate. The brain is desperate for certainty. The brain craves certainty. When you can give that certainty to the customer by addressing the reptilian brain, the rational brain, the emotional brain, the customer feels safe, and through safety, there is trust.